All right, so we're moving on to the next step. I spent a good amount of time going through my stash of hoarded parts, and I was able to find some things that we need. And I also went on eBay and got some things that I need. So let's take a look of what we're going to be installing. All right, so if you look here, we've got the window seals for the rear hatch or the rear door. We've also got a couple front bows for the headliner. Got those here. I'm going to go ahead and I got a rear bow for the rear headliner. We're in the process of cleaning those up, and fortunately I found what I needed, the stainless steel trim that goes around the rear window hatch. Got that all. I've actually cleaned most of that up already. It's all stainless steel. I buffed it out, and man, I don't know if you've ever done that before, but I've got a wool flap disc for buffing. This stuff gets smoking hot really fast. Man, I've just about blistered my fingers. It got so hot. But I've also found the top rails that go on the roof, but I don't need them on the roof because I did a cargo carrier delete, and I think I'm going to put 3 of these bows down, or 3 of these rails on the rear carpet area. And that way I can throw heavier stuff in there without it digging into the carpet. So I'm going to be doing that, and these are the newer seals for the rear window. But I don't know if you've ever seen these before, but I found these. These are actually mechanical remote door, or these are mechanical remote side view mirrors. Now all I got to do is glue the glass back in. But they actually have 3 little cables so that and a toggle switch so that you can move your side view lights. So I've got those. I'm going to get these cleaned up and going in. And I went through eBay, and eBay delivered me a passenger side door glass. So we'll get that in also. So we've got all kinds of small things to put in. I've also got hoarded away some sun visors. I've got to dig through them and find out which ones are the best ones, get those cleaned up and put in. But yeah, let's get busy and we'll get this Cherokee on the road. Maybe not this video, but this will definitely get us closer. All right, let me show you what I've been doing. It's a time-consuming process, but these bows, these headliner trim bows, just over the passage of time, they get beat up, and basically there was a crease in the center and some other twists and bends, over tightening the screws, etc. Plus I needed to get the paint off. So I used a air wheel with a red, and I'll probably go over it again with the blue, which is less, take some of the scratches out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use thin bed liner coating on there, one that you get Rust-Oleum. Yeah, Rust-Oleum bed liner. It's thin, it is durable, and it leaves a good finish, and it's easy to use. So I'm going to use textured paint on there when I get done. But it's kind of, you don't really need to have specialty tools. Steel will react in a certain way. So once you figure out how it wants to react, it does it every time. So basically what I did is I got a dowel that I could take out some of the dents that are in the middle. And then I also got a couple different thick pieces of flat bar so that I could get in between these holes. And then with the holes, I basically used a punch to make sure that they were evenly indented or recessed. And then in order to clean it up, because it wants to bend when you do that, right? You put a force on it and it's going to bend. So basically then all I did is I found a small enough socket that I could lay on there and then tap it straight. And cleaning up the edges, you just got to move real slow on cleaning up the edges and basically peen them over with a body hammer or any hammer to, and you do it slowly, because if you don't go slow, you won't be able to maintain the curve. So basically that's all I did. It's just a little bit time consuming. I think it's fun. Now, would I want to do this for hours and hours and hours every day? No, I would not. But, I mean, you can find these tools. All you got to do is find the tool that you already have that fits in the area that you're working on, and then you can manipulate the steel and make it do a lot of what you want it to do. Now, if this had torn and had cuts in it, it can be welded. You've got to go to a really small MIG wire in order to clean that up. Or you could actually TIG it, but I don't know how to TIG. Only Tiggers know how to TIG, and Tiggers are a wonderful thing. Their heads are made of rubber, their tails are made of springs. Bouncy, 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 fun, 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 fun. The wonderful thing about TIGging is I'm not the one. Okay, so anyway, this is the rear bow. I basically did the same thing and got it cleaned up. And so I'm going to paint these tonight, let them sit, and then with some screws I'm going to put them in place, even though I don't have a headliner, because I don't want to have to hunt these down again and I don't want them to get damaged. So I'm going to mount them even though they're not going to be doing anything, and they'll look like butt until I actually get a headliner in place. All right, let's go to the next step. All right, let me go through some of the things that I went through. This little center tab to capture the sun visors, two of them. These are so brittle and fragile from over the years that one of them was already painted and ready to go. That one was breaking, almost broke. So I took this one that would look good, I painted it, and as soon as I screwed it in, it broke. So what I ended up doing is this cavity here on the part, I basically filled that with JB Weld, let it set up, so now that whole base is probably twice as thick, and not to mention that JB Weld is much stronger than this plastic is, and that's what I ended up doing to make to make it so that these parts wouldn't fail, because I only had like one left. So that has been installed. I did clean up a set of sun visors, some that looked pretty good, that didn't have any thread pulling apart on them, weren't falling apart. And there's that centerpiece that I was telling you about, that all looks good. So basically, I've got these, they cleaned up pretty nice, and there's supposed to be a mirror that goes in here, but for whatever reason I found out that these things don't like to close with the mirror in place because they hit the padding. So I took it out, but you can't see it when it's not there. So we got the sun visors in, we got the cups in so I don't lose them later. And when we get a headliner in, I can put it all back together. But the trim bow on the front is in. Let's go look at the back. Let's go look at the back. In the back, I got the trim bow in here. That all looks good. And I just went to Lowe's and I got some 1/2" number 6 stainless steel trim screws and put those in. Worked perfect. So this is all ready to go. I mean, this is all cleaned up, and I shouldn't have to worry about it again until I get the headliner for it. But look at this. This is my idea on those roof rack rails. I am going to put them in like this, so that anything that goes heavy on there, I can just basically slide them in or out without worrying about tearing up the carpet. I think they'll look good, even though they're not made for that. The thinner ones that clamp into the carpet, those things are usually trashed because they're rusted, because these things seem to hold moisture, especially under the carpet, and it rusts those out. I like these better. So I'm going to put these in probably towards the end. However, I do know that there's a sill that goes across here, and I haven't been able to find one yet. It's about 3 inches wide, and it's not a door sill, so I can't put a door sill in. So I'll have to make sure that these are pushed forward far enough that when I do find a sill, I can put it in. All right, so we made progress on little things, little trim pieces, etc., etc. And it sure does pay. Make sure your spouse knows this. It sure does pay to hoard these parts, even if they sit around for 10 years. Because when you need them, you need them. Okay, out. Well, I got busy, and I thought that it would be a quick bit of work. I was going to get these side view mirrors set up so that I could mount them, at least temporarily mount them and get them where I liked them. However, just like anything else, I started fussing with it, and there was a lot of pitted chrome. So I took a abrasive wheel, knocked it down to the material, and obviously chrome, you can't just patch chrome. So basically I'm in the process of filling in the little divots that were created because of the blistering chrome, and I'm almost there. I've got a little bit more work to do. This area here, I can still feel it, so I've got to add a little bit of plastic to that. But I'm going to primer it, and then I'm going to add painted chrome to it, see how that looks. If it doesn't look good, then I'll maybe turn it over to a green to match the vehicle, or maybe black. But that's what I'm gonna do. I've got a bunch of parts on order. I got new mirrors on order. I may have some already, but I'm afraid that I'll break them trying to remove them. So I'm just gonna go with new. And I've also got a coolant overflow tank coming in. I've got some new door handles coming in on the inside door handles, and some other items, small items, on the way. So we'll be able to keep working on this. We won't get everything done in this video, but we'll stay busy in this video, and we'll have enough for the next. Also, I'd like to let everybody know that I'll be partnering up with BJ's Off-Road. They're going to be listing my parts at their store, and they're going to be kind of sponsoring me. I've got to see what I can talk them into letting me do. And so I'm really happy about that. Now that I'm retired, I've got more time to spend working on the business, and BJ's Off-Road is by far the best full-size Jeep store that I've dealt with. And they communicate well. They have products at their store that are of good quality, and I'm really excited about that. I'm not going to mention the other stores, but I've heard plenty of nightmares about the other stores that are out there, about not having things in inventory and then not responding when the parts don't show up. So I'm not going to throw those people under the bus, because if you do any research, you'll find out who the good vendors are, and BJ's is at the top of the list. All right, so I'm going to continue working on these side view mirrors, and I'll film the primer step, and then I'll film the chrome step, and then I'll film the reassembly steps. But like I said, these are pretty cool though. Like I said, these are manual remotes, and they have a little joystick, and they work pretty good. So this is where we're at now. We already put the black primer on, and we basically did the inside and the outside of the shells of the side view mirrors. These are the little pieces that go on the inside door panel. We're going to keep those silver. And the next coat, we've got 2 coats of black primer on here. And I used the black because I wanted kind of like a darker chrome instead of a lighter chrome. So maybe I can get a little bit of the darker accent underneath to show a slightly different shade of chrome or silver. So we're going to let this dry, and then I'm going to put the chrome paint on. Okay, we have the 2 coats of chrome on there. It's all looking pretty good. I accidentally did touch a couple places on there, or bumped them, so I'm going to have to wet sand that and put another coat on there. But other than that, these are basically done, and I'll put the glass in when it's ready to go, and when the gaskets come in, I'll go ahead and get them mounted. All right, that's the end of this video. We're going to move on to the next steps. Okay, this is something that's new. The rear suspension lift, the 2.5 suspension lift, is really selling pretty well. And I modified the bump stop plates to do a better job of accepting the 5/8 U-bolts that we use. And on wagons, on certain year wagons, the bump stop plates were making contact with the gas tank skid plate, so we notched those, so that shouldn't be an issue anymore. So this is an upgrade to our 2.5-inch suspension lift, and we're going to include those in our kit now. So that's good news. What's going to happen next? When those gaskets come in, we'll go ahead and mount up those side view mirrors. And then we've also got a coolant tank coming in, a universal cooling tank, and some other items that we're waiting on the parts. And we've got things coming in so that we can finish up the glass install for the rear tailgate. So those are all things that will be coming up in the next video. Rock Lawrence Vintage Auto Parts, and partnered up with BJ's Off-Road full-size Jeeps. Out.